Zen Buddhism and Nestorianism. Series 26. Just refrain choosing. During the later period of the Tang Dynasty in China, a monk asked Zen master Zhaozhou Congshen, the third patriarch Jianzhi Sengcan said in his book Xinxinming. Inscribed on the believing mind, the supreme way is not difficult. It simply dislikes choosing. What is non-choosing? Zhaozhou said, "Holy am I alone, throughout heaven and earth." This time, let's take a look at the koan from the Blue Cliff Record, cases 57 to 59. The supreme way is not difficult. It simply dislikes choosing. In order for God's work to be revealed. As Jesus was walking along, he saw a man who had been blind from birth. "Rabbi." His disciples asked him, "Why was this man born blind? Was it because of his own sins or his parents' sins?" "It was not because of his sins or his parents' sins." Jesus answered, "This happened so the power of God could be seen in him." Gospel of John chapter 9, verses 1 to 3. As I seek my sins, I find them unattainable. Time passed to the end of Wei, Jin, and Southern and Northern Dynasties period of China. Jianzhi Sengcan, who is known as the third Chinese patriarch of Zen Buddhism but was still a layman of 40, troubled with leprosy, at that time, heard that there was a priest of high virtue, learned Zen Buddhism originated in India. He immediately went for instruction to the priest, that is, the second patriarch, Haik, and asked, "I am riddled with leprosy, please absolve me of my sin." Haik said, "Bring me your sin, and I will cleanse you of it." Sengcan thought for a while, then said, "As I seek my sins, I find them unattainable." Haik replied, "Then I have cleansed you of it. You should live by the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha. Brotherhood equals monk, and abide therein." Sengcan asked Haik, "I can see you are a monk, what are the Buddha and the Dharma?" Replied the master, "This mind is Buddha. This mind is the Dharma. The Dharma and the Buddha are not separate. This is also true of the Sangha." This satisfied Sengcan, who now said, "Today for the first time I have realized that the essence of sin is not inside, not outside, not in between. So it is also of mind. Buddha and the Dharma are not separate either." Haik saw that Sengcan's understanding is profound. He shaved his head and said, "This is my treasure. I name him Sengcan, Jewel of Sangha." Then Sengcan devoted to the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha under Haik's guidance, and he was gradually cured of his illness. Xuanting Lu, Part 3. Persecution of the Three Wu and One Zong. Incidentally, it is said that the third patriarch, Sengcan, met the second patriarch, Haik, in the second year of the Tianping era of the Eastern Wei dynasty, received the full precepts at Guangfu Temple, that same year, became a disciple of Haik, and then served the first patriarch, Bodhidharma, together with the second patriarch, Haik, for a little over 2 years. However, under the anti-Buddhist policies of Emperor Taiwu of Northern Wei, Emperor Wu of Northern Zhou, Emperor Wuzong of Tang, and Emperor Shizong of later Zhou, the so-called persecution of the Three Wu and One Zong. Zen Buddhism in China, from its founder Bodhidharma, to its fourth patriarch Daoxin, seems to have been in a state of near-total disrepair. In the 12th year of the Kaihuang era of the Sui dynasty, 14-year-old novice Daoxin became a disciple of the third patriarch Sengcan. The following year, in the 13th year of the Kaihuang era, the second patriarch Haik passed away. The fourth patriarch Daoxin is said to have been almost the only disciple of the third patriarch Sengcan. After returning to Mount Wankong in Suzhou, present-day Qianshan City, Anqing City, Anhui Province. From his lecture tour on Mount Luofu. Baoluo County, Huizhou City, Guangdong Province. The third patriarch, Zen Master Sengcan, passed away in the second year of the Day era of Emperor Yang of the Sui Dynasty, 606 AD. And was posthumously given the title of Zen Master Jianzhi by Emperor Xuanzong of the Tang Dynasty. On his deathbed, Zen Master Sengcan said, "Many people pass away while sitting in the lotus position, but the way we face life and death is a matter of personal choice. I will continue walking today," and he placed his hand on a large tree and passed away while standing. The further biographies of eminent monks. Realization of the Kingdom of God. In the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus said, "Let one who seeks not stop seeking until finds. When one finds, one will be troubled. When one is troubled, one will marvel and will reign over all." Gospel of Thomas, verse 2. According to Mr. Sasagu Arai, author of the Japanese edition of the Gospel of Thomas, the above-mentioned Gospel of Thomas, verse 2, has similar parallel passages, in both the Oxyrhynchus Papyrus 654. OP 654, a fragment of the Greek written Logia. Words of Jesus, Papyrus, discovered in Oxyrhynchus, Egypt between 1897 and 1904, and the Gospel of the Hebrews. OP 654. Let one who seeks not stop seeking until finds. When one finds, one will be shaken. When one is shaken, one will rule. When one rules, one will be at a Sabbath. The Gospel of the Hebrews. Let one who seeks not stop seeking until finds. But those who find will be shaken. When one is shaken will rule. When one rules, one will be at a Sabbath. The flow of the three sentences can be summarized as follows. Gospel of Thomas. To seek, to find, to be shaken, to be amazed, to rule over all things. OP 654. To seek, to find, to be shaken, to rule over, to rest. Gospel of Hebrews. To seek, to find, to be shaken, to rule over, to rest. Human beings' inherent self-control. According to Mr. Sasagu Arai, the Gospel of Thomas replaces the word rest in OP 654 and the Gospel of the Hebrews with rule over all things, and also emphasizes the necessity of seeking. The goal of seeking is to rule over all things, and rule over all things is synonymous with kingly rule equals the kingdom, and for Thomas, the kingdom ultimately means human beings' inherent self-control. In other words, for Jesus in the Gospel of Thomas, the role of the Messiah was to realize the manifestation of the kingdom and, ultimately, the true self-governance of humanity, and it seems that the patriarch Bodhidharma's intention to come to the West also lies somewhere along these lines. The way is simple. Just refrain choosing. One day, a monk asked Zhaozhou Congshen, one of the great Chan masters, during the later period of the Tang Dynasty in China, served as the abbot of a temple called Guaninyuan. The third patriarch, Jianzhi Sengcan Chancher, said in his book Xinxinming, Inscribed on the Believing Mind, the supreme way is not difficult. It simply dislikes choosing. What is non-choosing? Zhaozhou said, Holy am I alone throughout heaven and earth. The monk said, that is still choosing. Zhaozhou howled out, You stupid bumpkin, where is the choosing? The monk remained silent. Isn't that the hideout of Zen Buddhists? However, another monk, who had been listening to their discussion, interjected, "The supreme way is not difficult, it simply dislikes choosing." Isn't that the hideout of Zen Buddhists? Just as birds flying in the sky need nests to rest their wings. Then, Master Zhaozhou gave a rather solemn reply, saying, "Once someone asked me like that. I am sorry that even after 5 years I still can't give an answer to it." Then, the other monk asked Zhaozhou, "The supreme way is not difficult, it simply dislikes choosing." But even if a word is uttered, it is already an action of choosing. Then how can you, Master, try to lead other people? Zhaozhou said, "Why don't you quote the sentence to the end? There are lower phrases saying, just do not hate or love, and it will be thoroughly clear. And so, aren't there?" The monk said, "Sorry, I just read until this part." Zhaozhou said, "Oh, is that so?" And he muttered, "It's only, the supreme way is not difficult, it simply dislikes choosing."